Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today, we are going to talk about the Mythic Legions, uh, Mythic Legions Tactics, I'm so sorry. Mythic Legion Tactics, Warfare Aetherblade, Male Orc Legion Builder. I won't make it that long in the title, so don't stress it, but yeah. Here we are talking about it, tons of accessories, tons of the ability to part swap, so much that I had to open up my second one to show you to do a quick version, so that way I don't get caught up in swapping too many things out on it. But everyone knows I love sword and sorcery. Orcs and goblins are one of my favorite factions because army building those guys are awesome because when you want crazy amount of evil builders, this works for all of your sword and sorcery needs. There's stuff like D&D. There's obviously Mythic Legions. There is anything that has to do with Conan. There are tons of things with magic and sword and sorcery. It's a plus. It's always a plus. So even if you wanted to go like B-Star, 80s movie, like, there are tons of things for stuff like this that I love. And this frog-like helmet, it comes straight up like this out of the box. This is this general look, and you're going to be able to make a ton of different looks based on this figure because of that. Now I'm going to lift it up just ever so bit. I got this whole lens. I got a whole new lens, which cost me a ton of money. So we're gonna work on that. But yeah, this is really dope. And the reason why I said it is because I love orcs. So our look on this basic look, you have all the bronze, you have the yellow. It is a great look. I say yellow. Wow, orange. It's really excellent because it's one of those. It works with the green skin tone. As you can see, even with my background, it has a very nice color fold that just it has a very beautiful separation. So when you see the other parts, you'll know for sure like you can part swap, have fun, things like that. Now, real quick though, one thing I want to talk about is I'm going to show you two different, when I get to the points of articulation, I'm going to show you two different ones because with this helmet you get different articulation versus a different style of head, right? So you get your basic Mythic Legions look. So as you can see, we can hit our T-pose. We don't have any bicep swivel, but we do have that mid-range forearm swivel as well as gauntlet swivel. So we have that. We have a inverted ball joint, which allows us to move around. No ab crunch really, but you have the twist and the turn. So again, it's going to be limited in points of articulation, but the sculpt is nice. These are one of those things where, for me, I would prefer more articulation, but I'm happy with getting my sword and sorcery stuff, so I make sacrifices with a line that I enjoy like this. So for those of you that don't know, yes, I do prefer articulation, but it works for me with Mythic Legions because they usually are getting beat up on as army builders. Unless it's a specialty character, then I'm going crazy. But yeah. One thing about the inverted ball joint, please be careful when tucking in. You can get a little bit of nicks there. Let me see if I can get that in. There we go. I nicked mine going too far down in my articulation, so it'll press against certain parts, so just be careful, right? Now we're back to it. Then we have our legs, which have crazy range. As you can see here. We have a thigh swivel, and we have a single jointed leg. But again, it's one of those things where depending on how you try to move and what you do with it, it really all depends. Because we do have generous ankle pivot. So as you can see like this, you can actually get this kind of pose. But that may not be for everyone. And that's totally fine. That's why videos like this exist with me and other people doing them. And this is the kind of fun you get to have. We also have a boot swivel. I mean, sorry, not boot, but a calf/knee swivel at our boot. Right? And what's really cool is pretty much all these parts are swappable. Our gauntlets are swappable, our belts are swappable, our sashes swappable, boots, feet, all of that is swappable. So if you want to have some fun with it, taking your character apart will be part of the joy of this line. Now, as you can see with our helmeted head, because there's no armor on this style of the torso, we actually get some decent movement. But if we were armored chests, we probably would have some visibility and movement issues. We'll talk about that right now as we talk about our accessories. We're going to get into that. All right, now we're going to get to talking about accessories. I brought out my extra orc. Now, like I said previously, this is what happens when you part swap just some of the parts that you have that comes with it. As you can see here, looking really good, looking really nice. It's one of those things where I'm like, oh, this is just a really simple part swap and it still looks fantastic. So that's a great example of what you could get. Now, I talked about our head mobility before. We're going to just pop off that head. We're actually going to use the one from this one. Boop, boop, boop. We're going to pop out our neck socket there. And then, woo. Voila. There we have it. Look at that. This is a really easy swap. And what's crazy is, wait a second. Ooh, my pego may be too big for this one. Let's try the other one. I want to make sure I'm not tripping. Right? Yeah, there was some tolerance issues on this one. Didn't even know that. I'm glad I learned that today. So yeah. As you can see here, we have an easy swap of the head. And now we have a regular basic orc with a semi-helmet and an open mouth part. So look, just like that, you have something new and refreshing right out the gate with this. You know what I mean? Option parts are always fun, and I'm always here for it. Right? Now, let's get to talking about those other accessories. So now, the first thing I want to do is we're going to talk about our various head sculpts. One of them you saw as I was putting it on. It's going to be our semi-helmeted sculpt. It's helmeting the full head, but not protecting the mouth because of the orc's teeth. Right? This is also done in bronze. I like the slit design. You can actually see the battle damage and wornness of the helmet. Once I learn how to draw brush one day, maybe I can get around to actually doing stuff for myself instead of asking friends. So yeah, this is beautiful. Next up, another alternative sculpt is no helmet at all. A plain orc head. And as you can see, his teeth are slightly smaller than that of our helmeted head. But it does look really good with this normal head. If you don't want a normal headed one, you can actually get a bearded war paint one. And all of this is included in the same pack, just in case you were curious. That's why we're going over all these crazy accessories. Let's say you don't like war paint, then you can get a general one with a beard. So that's 5 different heads altogether, including this helmet. So next up, we're going to talk about our extra torso. So you will get an alternative torso. Again, you saw this on the other one, so I swapped it. This will also actually give you an extra neck peg as well. So then you will get 2 styles of shoulder armor, as well as, I popped the neck off for a reason. You'll also get a neck guard, also done in bronze paint. Here we are with our neck guard. Then you'll get 2 types of pauldrons. You'll get a left and a right for each one, but I'm going to show you one of each on the shoulders. Here we have our bronzed war paint one. That's what I'm going to call it, war paint. Then you have the silver armor to match the torso. I'm going to put one of each on. So in case you want to make a asymmetrical armor, it is totally possible. Like I said, you will get 2 of each, so don't worry about it. You can make them symmetrical and or asymmetrical. Next up, you'll also get an alternative skirt and an alternative sash piece to match or mix and match of your liking. It's totally up to you. You'll also get various weapons. So here you have a bone sword, a bone knife as well. All the Dark Forces weapon ones. You'll get a broadsword. This comes with most builders at this point. You get a broadsword and a longsword as well. Beautiful stuff. And like I said, I love sword and sorcery, so this is this is nothing new to me. Then we have a spear or a lance, depending on how you want to go about the trajectory of this. Because this is definitely a 2-handed weapon or a 1-handed weapon if you're strong enough. We have a mace. We have a ball and chain for prisoners. It's going to open up right here. You will get a bandolier for storage over the shoulder, left or right, whichever one you want. There's an opening in the back to store weapons. Last but not least, you'll also get a shield. There's also a handle for it. You can put it on either side if you want to be left or right-handed. And if you have any back adapters, you can actually place this on the back of any of the characters you'd like. So that about covers everything that comes with it, and that's actually a lot. Now, just in case you were wondering about the paint and if it will match the other green hands, here we are with our regular green paint. And if you put it next to the hands on the color of the orc, it pretty much matches. So in case this hand is not included, but just in case you were wondering if the paint matched, you have your chance to show it. The print pretty much matches. I don't think it'd be too much of an issue for you guys, in case you want to swap out if you have those Dark Forces hands. Now, with all of that being said, we're going to jump into the size comparison of our sword and sorcery characters, having some fun. I'm probably going to use this guy instead, since he's technically pre-done. Looking there. Let's pop that head back on. And he's looking pretty cool. So, I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, now let's jump into the size comparisons. I think we'll start with some Legion stuff first and then work our way across brands. So, I'm going to use a fellow 1.0 body, so you can see where it stands at. Here we are with Sir Gideon Heaven's brand, right? You can see he's a bit taller, clearly because this helmet design style, right? But overall, you can see where those 1.0 bodies stand at. Next up, we're going to use a 2.0 body. We're going to use the Tactics Male Elf Legion builder that we got from the same Kickstarter, right? As you can see, the 2.0 bodies are smaller. Helmet design makes it look a little bit taller as that sleekness goes there. But overall, the bodies are slimmer and smaller. Keep that in mind. Let's remove these two. And then next up, we will choose a shorter body. I chose, instead of dwarves, I chose goblins. Here we are with Swig, the Goblin Magician. And I think that goblins and orcs go together very well, if not perfectly. They're just sub-factions of each other depending on what your lore is, right? So here we go. Yeah, looking real good. I got to give him some of those Atticus Doom magic effects because this guy is going to be busy in the streets causing mischief and mayhem. Next up, we're going to do some stuff like Mattel and Spiro Toys, Codan, things like that. So here we are with Spiro Toys, Animals of the Warrior Kingdom. I feel like these guys fit really well in with each other. This guy's been frozen for a bit. I had him on display. I should have changed that because he's getting a little warped, right? Next up, we have, ooh, you know what? This is a good one. Here is Mattel's Man-at-Arms. He is a big dude, but I like the idea that Man-at-Arms is there, right? Look at that. This is one of those things where orcs can be smaller because they're army builders. You're going to look cool. Dashing, bashing, all that good stuff, right? Next up, we have two Mezcos. We're going to choose Mezco Conan and Mezco Nemo. I feel like these two guys are more likely to fight orcs than anyone else. Especially Nemo. You never know what sort of weird, crazy lands he would do. This reminds me, I would love a Doc Savage. Absolutely love a Doc Savage from Mezco. Right? Then we're going to do Zesray Studios, Combatants for Glory. Here we are. Ooh, next one. This one is a good one because you never know. I like the idea in the Star Wars universe that they could be orcs. So here we are with a Black Series Stormtrooper. This one is Mike. You can see he's a little smaller. Next up, we have Sentinel, Ronin Warriors, Armor of Inferno Rio. You can see, much smaller, but it does look really good. Then we have Yoma Series, the Samurai. This is from Noda Collections. Stands really well in scale with that as well. We're going to remove these two. Next up, we have Kulu World Skeletons. This guy got beat up on the way. He fell down off camera. Right? So here's our Kulu World Skeleton. Then we are going to do a Power Rangers Abari Killer, aka the White Dino Ranger. Because these guys will also look like they would fight orcs. I'm trying to find stuff that looks compatible. Fun. Right? Next up, here we are with McFarlane the Witcher. Much bigger. 7-inch scale. This is 7-inch and this is supposed to also be 7-inch. So as you can see, the scales do vary depending on the character. Next up, in case you want to mix and match smaller lines or just go more urban, in case orcs get transported into the quote-unquote civilized world of your sword and sorcery, here we are with a Valaverse. Then we have Zartan from G.I. Joe. As you can see, they look pretty decent. It's not one of those things that's going to look super crazy. Last but not least, if you want to get super duper crazy and you want to try the bigger characters, because, I don't know. You know what? Let me actually put it in there anyway because I can't find it right now. But just in case, here's a Marvel Legends Captain America. So you have an idea that Thor will be bigger in case you want orcs to fight Thor, because that's a great combination of those two. Didn't think about that till just now. My mind it flutters. But I decided to throw this guy in there because I was having some fun with him earlier today. Here is a Beta Ray Bill from Marvel Select, big boy. So he fights like the orcs and goblins. He'll fight ogres and things like that. But it just looks really good. If you're wondering about the custom cape, it was made by Harker Customs, right? And that pretty much sums this up. I'm gonna have some fun with my sword and sorcery crew. Maybe I'll have them jump Conan or look like a perilous sieging army, or just show you some really cool mix and maxes. I'm just really not sure yet, but I'm trying to get the ideas running through my head. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks to the Cabal for always showing out, helping. Shout out to everybody there. Special thank you to all my people who've been following my sword and sorcery stuff. I know lately I've been trying to do more of all my older school stuff, trying to get back into Kamen Rider as well. The reason why I'm saying this is because lately you guys have been showing up for the videos and showing a lot of love. So I do want to say thank you, for real. So as always, please be good to yourself, be good to others, and as always, be good, do good. Drink your water, guys. Later.